Okay, it's 2 o'clock. Let's call the Water Management Committee meeting to order. Item 2, committee and public comments. Do we have any public comments or any committee comments? Tell Pat hello. Okay, item 3, Indian Wells Valley Groundwater Authority. Stan?
Okay. The last GA meeting was July 13th. The next GA meeting will be August 10th. That's just 2 days after ours. There was also a special meeting on the 22nd of July, which I did not attend because I had to go to Alaska fishing, okay? Our alternate did go, but I haven't had a chance to actually listen to the video. My understanding, however, and I believe that there was a contract awarded for the alignment study for the pipeline that's going down south. And there were a couple other things I'll have a better report on for next Monday after I watch the video. No progress has been made regarding the annual report, making the annual report an approval document. Next subject is, basically I've been trying to encourage the GA to use planning tools, and the PAC has done the same thing and have made no progress there either, but I'm not giving up. Let me see, from the financial activity, I think might have mentioned last time that the bonding for the imported water, they're going to go first of all to private agents, private individuals, and then depending on how that works out, they may go public. And I have not heard anything regarding the efforts to do that. Neither have I heard anything regarding the letter of intent that they're trying to get out for the purchase of that. I believe it's like 753 acre feet of water. I suspect that will be on the agenda for the next meeting. And if there's any success at all, it'll be a big deal. So we'll see. In terms of project activities and concerns, nothing has really changed there. My primary issue and concern is the lack of ability to measure the change to groundwater and storage. Without that, we can't estimate a recharge, and because of that, we can't estimate a safe yield. So we're sort of stuck. Our next GSP update is due in 2025, and there's also an annual report that is due April of next year. So I'm hoping that we do make some progress so that we can actually report on that at the proper time. Since there hasn't really been a meeting, as a short overview of sort of history. But if you have any questions, I'd be glad to answer anything I can.
If you'd like, I can expand on the meeting on July 22nd.
Sure.
You can get to watch the video.
Absolutely.
Yeah, you're correct. They did award the project for the pipeline realignment to Provost and Pritchard. And if I recall, it was somewhere around $441,000 was the quote that they provided.
So how much?
441,000, roughly. I might be off a little bit, but it was right on.
That's quite a bit higher than the projection, wasn't it?
I don't remember the projection. The grant was for 7.6 million, so 441,000 would go towards Provost and Pritchard to do the pipeline realignment.
Yeah, well, yeah, but I was for some reason thinking it was closer to 200 or 250. That was
I don't
originally
recall.
estimated, and I thought that was low.
I don't recall.
Okay.
The two other items, the one was for the Navy COSO funding for drilling the monitor wells up in Rose Valley. Stetson put together a scope for that project, and they're issuing it out for bids, soliciting bids. And I believe the due date is August 4th for bids. And then the last item that was approved was to take money from the budget There's $180,000 in the GA budget for the recycled water project, and they wanted to transfer some money, I think it was $140,000, something like that, to draft a feasibility study document that could be provided to get funding from Bureau of Reclamation for the deep well injection of recycled water. So that was approved as well.
Oh,
Just
sort of
transfer
interesting, they
money.
can take $140,000 out of a $180,000 budget. I'll keep track of that in the budget.
It was approved. So
Yeah,
those are
well,
the three
sure. I
items.
mean, we need to, we need a grant, and if a grant's available, it seems a little high, basically, to write a grant application. Somehow, how much study had to go into doing that, I guess. But see, I thought they had already spent well over $40,000 on the recycled water stuff that they
Look at
already
alternatives like the
done.
percolation and such.
Yeah,
Yeah.
well, a lot more than the percolation. It was
Yeah, it was
all
look
of
at
the
alternatives, yeah.
writing of the report, and I thought they were already up. Well, I don't want to, yeah, I just thought it was more than that. I'm surprised it's that much money, but thank you, I appreciate that.
Sure.
Now, I'm still going to watch the video.
It's very short. I think it's only a half hour at the most.
Oh, shoot. Okay.
Watch it before you go to bed.
Thank you.
Yeah, that'll make him sleep well. Stan, you made a comment about the monitoring. Did we not have a better response from even Kern County Water Agency? Did they not come in and do some measurements this year, or?
Oh, yeah, no, the Kern County,
okay.
the Kern County agency came back, and my understanding is measured quite a few additional
Okay.
monitoring wells for the spring, and they're going to come back for the October one and measure even more, because apparently some of the limitations that they had regarding COVID, they keep going down. They haven't gone to zero. My understanding is that Stetson may still be taking up a little bit of the slack, but not nearly as much of the slack as they did in the spring. Okay. But everything in theory was measured, which of course that's a big step forward.
Okay, good.
So hopefully this October, again, everything will get measured and the Kern County Water Agency will do more of it, because otherwise we have to pay twice for it.
Correct. Okay, thank you. Okay, any other comments? Okay, we'll move to.
Questions?
Or questions? Okay, we'll move to item 4, brackish water study.
Okay, the brackish water group still has not met since January 29th formally. I did get an update yesterday from Wade Major, who's the consultant with Aqualogic that's doing the initial data analysis and interpretation. He reports Tim Parker and Ramble are working to finalize their additional interpretation that combines the SkyTem data with the reprocessed seismic data as well as borehole log data, and they may have some results to share tomorrow. Aqualogic's GIS person is also working in the background on elements related to the shallow wells for the study area that will be included in the feasibility study report. Wade's hopeful that all pieces will start to come together next month and that he can finish his draft analysis and also the report, get it ready for review by the team, by the group. And again, the project completion is March 30th of 2023, so we're well on schedule to get completed by then.
That's actually the modified schedule.
Right.
Right.
It was originally June of this year.
Yeah.
Yes,
Well, that's fine. We're going to at least learn something, and that's good.
right. Yeah, it was, I think last August of 2021, we applied for an extension and DWR approved it.
Well, they've had some major perturbations.
I'm sorry?
In terms of changing the scope and preliminary results that forced them to change their approach, right?
To change, I'm sorry.
Didn't they get some additional information that made them change what they were going to do, the scope of
Yeah, I'm sorry.
activity?
Yeah, the aquifer test, the high TDS, high boron content was kind of a curveball that they didn't expect.
Yeah. No.
So, right,
So it's all justified. It's not
Yes.
like they're
yes,
really over too. They're just
yes.
working the problem.
And to expand, I know Director Boyd asked a question yesterday, kind of caught me off guard, but I had some time to think about it afterwards. During the January meeting, there was the data was presented, and Wade presented of estimate of a 6-month, 9-month, and 12-month pilot program. And I'm kind of recollecting some numbers, but the 6-month was somewhere around $640,000, I believe. And the 12-month was closer to $1 million. But for that 6-month pilot program, Wade had got it and received a quote for hauling the RO brine off-site was $1.2 million, which is a significant cost. When you add that to the $640,000 for the test, it's a pretty expensive test to run. In addition to that, the high TDS and boron would require an additional level of treatment so you don't plug up the membranes. So all those costs added together were making it look like the project would be infeasible. But again, Wade's still going through the data, and we're going to see if there's maybe another area that we can go where lower TDS and lower mineral content.
Have they been trying to talk with the Navy regarding, because at one point in time, that was the issue. We had to move off of the Navy area because the Navy didn't want to be involved.
The Navy essentially said, do it off base first, improve. They were concerned about subsidence in particular. A particular concern with subsidence because of pumping in that area. So they said, if you go off base and prove it first, and then you maybe can come on base. I'm paraphrasing, but that's essentially what they said. Which limited, obviously, options to do the test.
Where you could do it.
Yeah.
Any other questions on brackish water? Okay, number 5, alternate water sources.
Okay, again, just as a reminder, this was at the January 19th workshop that the board approved up to $200,000 to obtain and reprocess the remote sensing and seismic data that was collected during the 1980s within the El Paso subbasin. And again, we've acquired 59 miles of the 1982 seismic data as well as 40 miles of the 1988 seismic data. John Jansen with Collier Geophysical was able to negotiate with the seismic line wholesaler to give us 3 more miles on the east end of one of the lines with no additional charge due to the fact that they mislocated that line on their original maps. So the new mileage extends mapping on line 9201 to the eastern side of El Paso. We're very close to it. This morning, I had a call with John, and he requested, I did approve additional charges associated with negotiating with SEI and also interpreting those additional miles. The cost is $500 per mile. I thought that was reasonable. It's beyond the original scope of his project. So the total projected cost now, including the cost to update the hydrological conceptual model, is somewhere around $180,000. We're still below the $200,000 budget. And at this point in time, I don't anticipate any more costs. John has completed the attribute analysis and delineated the sand and clay bodies using the same parameters he used for the previous lines that he acquired. He did have some software issues the last 2 weeks, so that put him behind a little bit on schedule. He did share the revised seismic sections with Tim Parker and Paul Thorne from Ramble this past weekend, and that showed that the interpreted formation tops and sand bodies. Some CSV files of the formation tops were also shared, and John is awaiting feedback from Tim and Paul on the files that they shared while he's continued to work on the draft report. So we're hoping that he'll wrap up that report. He should wrap it up next month, in early August, I hope.
Any comments or questions? Okay, item 6, future agenda items.
I actually had a number of things that I had proposed to, for the semi-annual workshop that didn't get included, but I'm not ready to push on that yet until I figure out what committees there should be going to. So I may come back next month with some agenda items, but I'm not ready yet.
Okay. I just have one. I would like to add to the agenda for next month's meeting to maybe form a committee with 2 board members and a general manager to start meeting with Inyo County and see if we could put to fruition some of the district's past efforts to purchase land for water rights. And I think the district's been proactive, and I think maybe it's time that we take another step.
If I might, just could we delay that? I've got some information for closed session in the August 8th board meeting that
Okay.
we'll be sharing that might factor into this.
Okay, that's fine.
Okay.
Okay.
Oh, I guess one thing that I've forgot, I guess, is in the past, we talked about funding, grants or loans or whatever we need to do the exploration for the water sources. And I'd like to see that back on the agenda to see where we are. I guess I keep thinking about the $2.5 million that CCG got for the city for their wastewater treatment plant for no more than asking for it, basically. It seems to me that there's money out there and we need to get our share, especially since CCG was using basically water district money to go get that money for the city. CCG is something that we need to look at to see if we can't use them. Of course, there's a lot of other things going on that we could use, but I want to keep that issue alive in terms of being able to get some funding for exploration, whether it be El Paso or anywhere else, anywhere we might need monitoring, et cetera, et cetera.
So DWR still has a pot of money. Tim Parker and I have been talking about that. They still have a pretty good pot of money available for drilling and offering that as a service. And since we're a high priority basin, there's a pretty good chance we might be able to get some money. I've talked to Paul Goslin and he has said that, ideally the request would come from the groundwater authority because it would show that we're working, we're playing well together and all that. But if the water district could apply on their own, so I'll talk to Tim. I've got a call with Tim this afternoon at 3:30.
Okay.
Maybe I'll talk to him about it.
Well, I know there are a lot of the funds or grant monies that are only available to Sigma agencies, but there are also pots of money that are available to non-Sigma agencies. And that's something we just need to explore. And I think Tim's got a pretty good in with the DWR. So I think he's a real good asset. Mm-hmm. Free money is always good.
Any other future agenda items? Okay, we will adjourn at 2:17.